player in the world, according to Steadfast, it is HeroMarine.
And his opponent, spawning up at the top right. It is the blue Protoss player. Can he make a miracle happen? It's Hellraiser in the blue. I do want to addend that point just a little bit before Twitch chat is like, oh my god, the disrespect to Maru. How can you say this? I will say he has the deadliest TVP in the first 8 minutes. I think he does, personally.
Nope. You said that he has the best TVP in the world, bar none. That is what gets clipped. That is what I am tweeting about.
That is how the cancellation starts.
Exact. Well, hopefully HeroMarine doesn't cancel a building early. That would definitely cause problems in his status as #1 TVP player.
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't help. But in all seriousness, he is so difficult to go up against, and he's so confident. He has been practicing. You know, he plays StarCraft 2 so much. He plays so much. And it really does show. Now, we got something interesting out of Hellraiser. That is a double gas build coming on out here. He still does take the Nexus, but it's a little bit later than normal, and it is going to be a rather quick Stargate. Hellraiser, by the way, you got to fix this probe, my dude. There we go. Okay. That bothers me so much when I see players like they just kind of create a situation where it's just worse for themselves, and then they just leave it. At least he fixes it, though. At least he fixes it.
Yeah, oh, man. If you don't get your probe micro or your worker micro early on this first set of mineral patches, it just feels so bad. It's one of those things where, if you're sitting in gold and you're playing StarCraft, first of all, glad you're here. But it's not something that matters. But at this highest levels, look at the ring around the rosy here. HeroMarine, oh, that's just miserable. The Adept can't ever bring itself forward. That is... You know what? It was shield damage. It's all that happened. It's actually a second Reaper joins up. This is new. This is actually something that Bjorn has been doing in his EPT Cup runs that I was talking about, where he goes double Reaper, and then he goes for this Viking Cyclone Marine drop. Now, that's not quite what HeroMarine is doing with the Widow Mines on the way, but 2 Reapers, they do add a lot more pressure than you might think they might.
Yeah, this is a TVT opener for the most part. Oh my goodness, Hellraiser is going to get caught, and he loses the first unit. This is actually so bad. He's going to take so much damage already. We're going to see at least, I think, 3 to 4 probes going down. Ooh, he splits the Hellion into the natural. I love this. The Phoenix lifts up the low HP Reaper. Why did he lift the low HP one? That is such a weird decision. Oh, man, and now we've got HeroMarine already killing 5 probes. He's going to get away with the Reaper. No, will go down. But still, this is already so successful for HeroMarine, and he actually just pulls the Hellion back. 2 Reapers for 5 probes is amazing damage.
And now we have the Cyclone on the way. Now we have the addition of Marines, the medevac getting started. We're just going to see a follow-up pusher. I don't know that was HeroMarine's stated goal. I mean, that build I was talking about, okay, yeah, it's the Bjorn build. It's a little bit of a different way. Normally, Bjorn doesn't get the Widow Mine. That was a slight deviation in play. But when you get this much damage done Steadfast, 5 probes, an Adept, get the full scout, you see a Stargate opening. Tropical Sacrifice is actually not the longest rush distance, despite it being a fairly large map. Why not? After all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I put Cyclones in his base? It seems like fun.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna dispute this one. I'm gonna say this is the HeroMarine build. When you when you go for, like, in this case, ironically, he's not actually doing that. He is doing a bit of a different thing than what he normally does. But he likes to, like, rally Vikings and Cyclones, and I'm actually very surprised he's not doing that. I'm surprised he's getting the tank and the Liberator, so he's gonna slow play this a little bit more. But to be fair, on Tropical Sacrifice, tanks are going to be much more effective than on pretty much any other map except maybe Moondance. But I think even on Moondance, the tank positions aren't as good as they are on Tropical Sacrifice if you can get into the natural expansion. That being said, he takes a 3rd command center. This is very un-HeroMarine. Like, he's still going to be able to put some pressure on, but I'm used to seeing him in recent history going very heavy on the commitment. He still has a lot of potential, and I think this will get a good amount done. Ooh, already getting a decent bit of damage with this Liberator on the Phoenixes. Does need to keep it alive, and he will manage to do so.
Well, it's okay, Steadfast. You know, this is where we make some sort of joke about HeroMarine being afraid of commitment. And then But anyways, yeah, he is moving on the map right now. And I think it's one of those things where he got so much damage early. It's good lock on there on the Phoenix. Notice he's using the Hellion to make sure he maintains vision. He got enough damage early where he can go for the push and have it be successful while still securing his mid game. So as a Colossus is out on the map here, that does make this push woefully less effective. Marines without stim do not fight Colossus, but tanks do. And of course, three tanks means you two-shot that Colossus. But for now, the Hellions, well, excuse me, the Phoenix, they're going to dive on top of things. But they're just getting shot down here. Tanks are lifted, and HeroMarine's not exactly targeting down the Phoenix that he needs to just yet. But Hellraiser is dead anyways. Liberator in the main base. The tanks do not die. And HeroMarine, I think Steadfast, you were talking about how you wanted to see him win in interesting ways in the break. That was certainly an interesting way to win game one.
Yeah, he ran him over. He absolutely steamrolled him. Didn't give Hellraiser any opportunity whatsoever in that game. You mentioned the Colossus are very good against those Marines, but like you also mentioned, the two tanks are world beaters. The shield batteries were depowered very early on in that push. They didn't make any difference. If he has a battery overcharge on a very far back shield battery, HeroMarine can't make that dive. The Colossus will not go down when his battery overcharged. The tanks, they do massive damage, but it's not going to be enough to burn through a battery overcharge. The battery overcharge will heal up the Colossus for sure. But he didn't have to worry about that. No. He was able to get that taken down or depower the shield batteries instantly. And from that point on, the game was completely over. HeroMarine, perfect execution, nails it in game one, and we'll see if Hellraiser can somehow turn it around.
I mean, Steadfast, that game was over for the moment that the Reaper was just diving around the Nexus, and Hellraiser could not bring his Adept to bear. Regardless, that's not damage. And that's not even the greatest, wow, that's such an outskill. It's just, you don't have the range, and that's how it works. That's just the mental damage there. It's the kid running around the tree blowing raspberries at you, like, ha ha, you can't touch me. And, the mental damage is probably even more important than the actual physical damage. But what do you say, Steadfast? How does game two go?
I think more of the same.
All right.
I don't think Hellraiser survives past the 10-minute mark. After looking at game one, I might even say he doesn't survive past the 8-minute mark, but we'll see.
All right, well, let's find out. Data C, map 2. And in the upper right, he's up 1 and really just looking disgustingly good. Well, he is from Mouse Esports. It's HeroMarine.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left. Can he prove me wrong? I hope he can. It is Hellraiser. That's not to say I want him, to win or lose, but it would be nice to see him putting up a stiff resistance against HeroMarine. It would be fun to see a bit of a longer game potentially. But Big Gabe, you mentioned it. You said the mental damage was the most important thing. I'm going to be honest, the actual shield damage on that Adept is part of the reason why it died so quickly to the follow-up, 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion thing, 1 Hellion maneuver. And he lost the 5 probes from that point on. Things got really uncomfortable. One of the Phoenixes had to use a lift even on the Reaper. It was just that early game went textbook for HeroMarine. He really couldn't have asked for more damage than he got.
That game of getting, 5 probes and Adept for effectively the cost of 2 Reapers.
Yeah.
With a 2 Reaper Hellion opening. That's the type of damage at this level, at the high pro level, that you get maybe like 1 every 20 games.
Yeah, exactly. That is the maximum of what is within acceptable bounds of this is possible versus this should not be possible.
I would go so far as to say it shouldn't be possible. Yes, it might happen occasionally, but that is due to drastic screw-ups or significant skill imbalances. At the highest level, that should not happen. And I hope, as you said, we see Hellraiser clean things up, but we're hitting that time. And notice here's the big difference. It's a Stalker opening. It's not a Adept opening. That means the Stalker can actually have range on the other side of the Nexus and can force that Reaper out. But HeroMarine on a bigger map, at least a longer map, is not going for that double Reaper setup. So we don't even have the damage potential that HeroMarine found in game 1.
No, we do not. We do have another Stargate opener from Hellraiser, and this time HeroMarine is not going to be able to scout it easily. He did, of course, get the information kind of as a byproduct of the follow-up, but also it's not going to be the TVT opener here with the 2 Reapers and the single Hellion where you are trying to get a decent bit of damage done. It is just going to be the single Reaper. Now, he really wants this scouting information, and he will get it this time. Shield Battery is going to be able to keep the probes alive, but Big Gabe, I mean, the big deal is that he sees that it's a Phoenix. And he knows, okay, I can go for a push now if I'm so inclined. He might even know, based on who he's playing, that it's probably going to be another, Phoenix Colossus play.
And Phoenix Colossus play, if you get there, is fantastic against a lot of these early game tank pushes. The Phoenix lifts the tanks, the Colossus kills everything else, and modern Phoenix Colossus gets 6, 7, 8, 9 Widowmine on the Phoenix, but it does not die. It takes 2 shots, or a Cyclone. It takes a little more damage. Point being, you get so many Phoenix that not only, it's long gone are the days where you get 5 Phoenix, it is to hold that first fight, and then that is it. And then you move into Blink Stalkers and charge very quickly. Now you get 6, 7, 8, 9 that holds your position, that allows you to knock down a lot of tech much faster. But we talk about being able to knock down Phoenix Colossus, and it doesn't look like Hellraiser's going to get there, because the army of HeroMarine already on the map. Similar idea from map 1. There's the Viking on the way, second Cyclone, the build that I call the gun build that you're calling the HeroMarine build, and whoever it is, it's hitting once again. Can Hellraiser stop it?
That is the question here, and this is what I more expected to see out of HeroMarine, the rally of the Cyclones and the Vikings. With the damage he got on that one Phoenix, this already makes this extremely difficult. The shield battery is rather exposed at the front line, and it's also not done yet. Ooh, we will see a lift on the Cyclone, and he was able to keep the Phoenixes kind of in a nice tucked back in position. Oh, Widowmine. Oh, the double kill. Double kill.
That is extremely unfortunate, but the shield battery is done. It's out of energy now, but a shield battery overcharge will be a nice thing. We're talking about how exposed it is, but the amount of stuff that HeroMarine has is actually, well, as I say that, where's the shield battery? Does he not? He doesn't have energy, Steadfast, unless it's in the main base.
He loses the Phoenix as the other shield battery was completing. This is still getting, I mean, the robotics bay just started. Colossus are not even close to this. The Marine count is going to be a big problem soon. We've got the second shield battery already out of energy. I think we are looking at the potential of another just quick game 1 or quick game 2.
What a mistake from Hellraiser. He just doesn't have the energy for an overcharge. He holds that, at least he makes it closer if he has an overcharge to keep his Immortals alive. He just doesn't pop it. And you would think he would have identified after the first time that it doesn't really work out. But he still did not have energy for the second time, and that is how an Immortal died. That's how a bunch of Stalkers died. The Phoenix count keeps getting reset. 8 probes have died.
He just dropped another Chrono Boost when, so with no high ground vision, HeroMarine does back away, and that's a big deal. But if HeroMarine had been rallying in another Viking or another Medevac, which Hellraiser has no idea about, he would have gotten, bullied again. It would have been more of the same. Now, we do see Hellraiser stabilizing because there's no high ground vision. But
Steadfast, this is a stabilizing. The game's not over. HeroMarine's up 2 workers. He has his 3-1-1 setup. He's got his third ace already done. He's got his 4th and 5th barracks on the way. This is not stabilizing. This is just HeroMarine saying, giving him the opportunity to live for another 2 minutes before he dies.
Pretty much, yeah. HeroMarine's already got his stim and his combat shields on the way. 3rd command center is landed. 4th and 5th barracks are finishing up. It's pretty much what you're talking about right there, where I say stabilizing because, I mean, he doesn't die right this moment, but it is still a disastrous situation. Look at this. HeroMarine says, I know what you like to do. You're going to try and really turtle with a lot of Phoenix Colossus. You might even go second Stargate. Instantly drops the second starport. I love this approach to facing off against Hellraiser.
It's so fun too watching this. I cast a lot of Byun. I cast a lot of the Korean Terrans just because of the time span that I can cast things. And Byun does not build Vikings. Even when he goes and he has to because it's 4 or 5 Colossus, he'll build 4 and you'll see he's not happy about it. Seeing someone go the old school second starport, 4 Vikings at a time, is such a, at least for me, it's a fantastic little stylistic difference, and it makes a lot of sense. If Hellraiser's going to turtle on Phoenix Colossus, build a lot of Vikings, slap that down harder than I don't know, harder than something that you slap. Because at this point, that is the only thing that Hellraiser will have going for him. He's going to scout this drop, though. And that is nice, but Steadfast, we only have 3 Phoenix, although I love this. It's moving into Disruptors immediately. Vikings are horrible against Disruptor play.
Yeah, they certainly don't get the job done, but it does mean that he's got no Colossus in his main base to deal with the Mass Marine. Disruptor is going to get target fired down, and that is actually going to be all she wrote. Just like that,